views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
Is Generation X. That's me. I was born in the 70s.
And
really? Yeah.
Oh. Like 79 or like 73?
I'm not talking to you about this.
After 12.
But
like, girl. You don't say nothing night, like, you know, like kind of, you know.
Christina, can we stay on script? This is why I have it.
What? Like sometimes you act your age and sometimes you don't. And this is one of those moments where it's like, wow, like this lady's really. Anyway.
You call me a lady?
I did call you a lady. Hello, 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 beautiful people.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I know that you didn't spend a lot of time glued to the TV today, but there was one moment where Ambassador Bill Taylor recounted a conversation that an aide of his overheard. It was the day after the phone call with Zelensky on July the 26th, in which the aide says that he overheard you say to Sondland, how are things going with proceeding with the investigations? Sondland repeated back to you, according to this aide, that Ukraine was prepared to do everything that you wanted it to do. Is that correct? And can you fill in some more?
I know nothing about that. First time I've heard it. The one thing I've seen that Sondland said was that he did speak to me for a brief moment, and I said no quid pro quo under any circumstances, and that's true. The other, I've never heard this. In any event, it's more second-hand information, but I've never heard it.
Do you recall having a conversation with Sondland?
I don't recall. No, not at all. Not even a little bit. The only thing, and I guess Sondland had stayed with his testimony, that there was no quid pro quo. Pure.
Hello, 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 beautiful people. Look who it is. It's me, by myself. Me, myself, and I, for this segment, at least. It's your girl, Christina Gwira, and I'm here today. I'm the Chris, in Chris and Sim for In the Now. So we start off this hour, this segment, with some words from our friend from the south of the border, as we like to call him here in the studio, Kweku Trump. So he is saying that amidst all the impeachment talk, amidst all the noise of him being removed from power, frankly, he's unbothered. I personally feel and think that impeachment is very different from removal from office. So yes, the process for impeachment has started. Yes, we are trying, by we, I mean the American people or the Democrats and their straggling supporters in the Republican Party are trying to remove Trump from office. However, I don't feel that he will actually leave. That's my personal opinion. I feel that he will not leave. And if he does leave, I feel like he won't leave peacefully, which I feel could be a massive problem for the United States and probably the world at large. Will we see someone fight to stay in power? And we've seen what that looks like in other countries, but can we imagine what that would be like when potentially the leader of the free world pulls a Gaddafi? Thoughts? Leave them in the comments down below. Next up, something that I wanted to talk about. As you know, I hail from the UK, so obviously there's always going to be like a little sprinkling of UK happenings and what's it's in the now. Our friend Boris Johnson. Oh my gosh. What is up with these world leaders and having terrible hair? Like all the money they make and they can't find a simple hairdresser to fix their hair for them. It's honestly, it's embarrassing. But a couple of days ago, Boris Johnson listed out some of the things he'll be working on with his new government, which again, he got a landslide victory last Thursday during the UK general election. And also the Queen's speech came as she opened Parliament for the first time sometime this week. So I'm a bit worried about his plans for the NHS. When I used to live in England, free healthcare for the most part was something that my family and I enjoyed. And Boris now wants to put tariffs and fees in place that can potentially hurt those who rely so heavily on the NHS. I was sharing in the studio over the course of the week that I actually have an uncle who suffers from sickle cell, and he relies heavily on the NHS for support with his illness. And I feel that some of these things that Boris Johnson and his government are proposing and will more than likely enact because they have a majority government could definitely have a direct impact on people within my family as well as the country at large. So definitely hearing about the Scottish separatist movement, hearing that that's growing. I definitely feel that me personally, I do like the way they're going. And, I really feel like as a whole, things that we used to do in the past, we shouldn't let them run into the future. And if you look at the history of how the United Kingdom came to be, the United Kingdom is made up of multiple countries. So you have Northern Ireland, you have Ireland, you have Wales, you have Scotland. And I think that Scotland asking for their autonomy is not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. But I think it really makes England focus on how they came about to being the world power that they are. I'm all for the Commonwealth to a point, but I think also there are definitely murmurings of people saying we want to stand by ourselves. So shout out to Scotland. I hope you get your referendum. Next up on the docket, while we're still focusing on world news, we're going to talk about an African country that is doing something amazing. Amazing. This just in, Ethiopia has launched their very first satellite into space with the help of China. Now, I'm a bit weary whenever things include China as well. I feel China is an amazing superpower. I feel that they are really always at the cutting edge when it comes to technology, but I've heard different things on the ground. I'm going to talk from my own experiences, talking about my country of Ghana. And when I hear from my aunts and uncles and my family back home about how they're seeing a greater influx of Chinese nationals on the ground, it worries me a bit. It worries me a bit as to how and why and what exactly Ethiopia did to enable China to assist them in setting up a satellite. Now, I have seen and read and heard that China has these partnerships with several countries, including Brazil, but it definitely does make you wonder. I really do hope, and I was even having a conversation with someone today on Instagram about how China was also investing a lot of infrastructure into Ghana, and in exchange, there was no debt involved, which was really great to hear, but instead they were exchanging China's ability to help build infrastructure in Ghana in exchange for aluminum from Ghana. So there was no debt, there was no loan, which I found was really helpful. So I hope that these partnerships that countries like Ethiopia and Brazil are having with China are going to bring about positivity for both countries. And it's not a situation where one is trying to encroach upon the resources of the other. So we're going into our first break. I hope you guys were entertained. Well, not so much entertained as informed. This is like the informative session. We're talking about world news, what's going on in the UK, in the US, Ethiopia, Brazil, etc., etc. So stay tuned, Stay informed, stay in the now.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
Ethiopia's first satellite, ETR-SS-1, heads into orbit on Friday. This remote sensing satellite is expected to be used for agriculture, predicting disasters, and improving forest development, among other things. An Ethiopian delegation is already in China, from where the satellite will be launched. Talks have also been held with Chinese counterparts in Beijing for future negotiations. CT10's Gurum Chala reports.
ETR-SS-1 will soon join other satellites in orbit with an Ethiopian flag on it. Ethiopia's delegation, led by the Minister of Innovation and Technology, is already here in China to witness the launching of this historic satellite.
For me, it feels like the 1957, that the first ever object, man-made object, was put in place, and that is Sputnik by the Russians in 1957. So for me now, I feel like that exactly. So this is the first ever Ethiopian object, Ethiopian satellite to be put in space.
Hi everyone, how y'all doing? We're back. So that was just a little bit more information about Ethiopia and what they're planning to do in partnership with China and their satellite. It makes me really happy that Africa, the continent, is taking more control and embracing more technological advances and trying to keep up with the world as a whole when it comes to technology. Speaking of technology, we're going to do a quick throwback to the very first time I came onto this show and talk about some of the technological advances that you can look forward to, you're probably participating in right now, and the like in this segment. We're going to talk about what's going on in 2020 when it comes to tech. I'm going to start off with something that I researched for my article that's coming up in the Toronto Caribbean newspaper for our end of the decade issue, which should hit newsstands sometime next week. I want to talk about autonomous things. Autonomous things. I want you to think about that. Autonomous means that it's something that lives and moves and functions by itself. Long pause. Because that kind of scares me a little bit. It scares me that we're coming to that time in our lives in this new decade where things like maybe a phone will be able to have a mind of its own, or be able to learn from what we are doing and be able to make decisions and essentially have some form of reason. This really, 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 really is something that is currently happening right now. It's not something that's in the future or something that's proposed. These types of technologies are being used right now. A really good example of that is an article I actually wrote for a Toronto-based company led by a Black woman called Air Matrix. So these are drones that are able to maneuver themselves. Now, her ones, they don't maneuver themselves yet, but her company, Air Matrix, is building the highway that will enable drones to be able to move freely and do deliveries, etc. And they've actually been successful. I think they did a short haul flight from one hospital to another, and they were able to deliver a transplant from one hospital to another in downtown Toronto, which is amazing news. But autonomous things are coming. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to impress upon us that we need to accept technology, number one, but we also need to be informed about what it can do, what the repercussions are, and be able to have a place in what is happening in technology for ourselves. So I wanted to start off with that because that was the thing that like totally, it shook me. I'm like, what do you mean that there are currently drones that are maneuvering themselves, so they're able to change position and change traction? Like, what will happen if we have like an iRobot situation? You know what I'm saying? Like these things that we've seen in movies play out in the arts, these things are actually coming to being and coming to life right now. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the blockchain. Now, I know when I first came here onto the show, I spoke about blockchain, and blockchain is what powers things like Bitcoin. Blockchain and Bitcoin are not the same. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that is based off of blockchain. And what blockchain is, it is a glorified technological list. That's all a blockchain is. It's a list that adds things to it. Well, people can add things to the list, but it's next to impossible to remove things from the list, making it super secure. And things are added to the blockchain through cryptography, which is basically the study of codes and coding languages. Not codes like HTML and PHP, no, like actual codes. Like, you know, code cracking, that is cryptography. And that is what holds blockchain together. In the new decade that's upon us, I really feel that we're going to have more apps, more services, more things that utilize blockchain. And again, we need to be able to be empowered to learn more about these things and see how they can benefit us, right? Like that's the whole point of technology. I was at the Toronto Caribbean newspaper Christmas party yesterday, and there was a lot of talk about how we can basically take advantage of the hard sciences, you know, physics, math, etc., engineering. And I really feel we also need to accept and come into our own and learning more about technology as well, because technology, in my personal opinion, you know, it's little science, you know, it's sciencey, right? So that is something that I feel is going to have a very big impact, especially with waves of censorship that's happening all across the world. Canada censorship is coming for us. You know, there was talk from Justin Trudeau about bringing some form of censorship to the internet that could penalize social media companies. So I definitely feel that we'll be probably utilizing a lot more blockchain in the new decade that's upon us to keep our things safe and hidden from Big Brother potentially, right? So I think that's something I wanted to share with you guys, kind of let you guys know that blockchain is not Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is not the only form of cryptocurrency out there. There's Ethereum, there's all these other things, but we need to be able to protect our content, protect our information, keep what is ours to ourselves, and definitely adding things to the blockchain and utilizing the security and the anonymity that the blockchain provides can definitely help us out. So in today's script, you know, there was some other things on there that I didn't research, so we're not going to talk about those things. But overall, what my main premise of today's segment is when it comes to technology is that we should embrace it. We should embrace it as much as we can. We should try and learn about things because these things, whether we like it or not, they are part of our day-to-day lives. They are part of who we are as people. If you are alive and breathing right now, if you're watching this video, you are being impacted by technology. So why not learn about it and see how it can benefit you in new and better ways? Look at how Ethiopia is sending their satellite into space. Ghana already has sent up theirs. Big up all nations. And you know, these types of things are things we need to embrace and impact. At the party yesterday, it was made mention that we're currently in the 4th industrial revolution. How are we going to take advantage of that? How are we going to make the best of this revolution. I feel that the revolution that we're in right now is very accessible. It's very easy for us to get our hands on technology or be able to reach out to people who do know about this technology through globalization and be able to partner with people who can help us build things, help us power our causes, help us grow communities. So I really want to impress upon you not to run away from technology. And I'm not just, when I say technology, I don't just mean social media. Like, technology is so much bigger than TikTok or Pinterest or Facebook or WeChat. It's so much bigger than that. It's about learning things like how to program AI. It's about learning things on how do I create a chatbot and how can this help me? These types of things, learning about artificial intelligence, learning about user experience, these are all things that are part of and parcel of technology. It's not just the social networks, people. It's not just about learning how to use Facebook. There's so much more. We can go so much deeper into that. So on the next segment, I'm going to be joined by our beautiful co-host, Simone. And she's going to talk about serial killers and how they're using technology to kind of do what they need to do for themselves. So stay tuned, stay connected, and most importantly, stay in the now.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
I have to shove over. I have to shove it this way. Okay, there you go.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Guys, I do my best.
Great rising.
Great rising. I feel like you're mocking me.
I totally am.
Guys, welcome back to In the Now, whatever. I'll deal with you later. So, very good job, Miss Lady.
Thank you.
You know what? I think things happen for a reason. She needs to learn how to do this by herself because she left me like twice. So you still owe me a whole show.
Oh, I'm leaving you in 2020, girl. We'll talk about that later. Ain't that right, Sim? Selena, you know. I'm so serious.
I'm not joking. Believe me to go where?
Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later.
You're a jerk. You can't do that right in the middle of the show. I have to do a show. Now
You got this 6 show soon. Carry on.
Anyways,
it's good. It's all positivity.
So don't
good.
F with cats. Let's talk about this quickly.
You know what? I just downloaded Netflix to my phone 2 days ago because I wanted to watch Greenleaf, and I added this to my watch list. I'm going to watch it. Did you watch it? How is it? Is it good?
So let's talk about this for a second, okay? Let's talk about this for a minute. Regardless if there's a whole bunch of spoilers I'm giving, but regardless of, no, it's never going to be a spoiler. You still have to watch it. Even if I say something, you won't believe it until you see it.
Okay.
Okay? So let's just go through this. So Netflix has just released a docu-series on the Canadian killer Luca Magnotta. So I don't know if anyone heard about this from 2012. So before I even start talking about this, some people are going to find this triggering. If you are a pet lover or if you have a cat, I'm sorry.
I didn't. Cat. Do you have a cat? You have a dog.
I have a puppy dog. I have a Chihuahua. Yeah, but she's really quite stush and angry. Anyhow, so this 3-episode show, Don't F with Cats, is hunting an internet killer. So long story short, this young man, okay.
Is this actually him?
This is him, okay.
Why is his face blurred out?
Because he made a video of him suffocating kittens in a bag. He puts them in a bag and sucks out the air and watches them die. Then he takes them out, that's a dead cat, and he posed with it on the internet, okay? So his actions obviously sparked this huge issue online. People are going off about this. And people are actually trying to, so this group of people, this lady here, the group was called Animal Beta Project. They started to track this man down like they were po-po brethren. Like these people are like looking at, oh, but this story is, honestly, I don't even have time to go into all this. This happened, and you know what's the messed up part about it? Why does stupid shit have to happen in Toronto? Why? It finished in Montreal, but it happened in Toronto. I'm not done. It gets worse. That's what I'm saying. You still have to watch this. This is just a teaser. That's all this is. So he killed three times he killed cats. He killed 2 kittens at once. Then he drowned another kitten and taped it, put this on social media. Then he had a python eat a kitten. So people were enraged, okay? And of course, watching this, I can see why people would get a little bit triggered because it's very like,
so they watched the whole thing.
We're going to get to that. So listen to this. First of all, we'll talk about that. This young man was sick, okay? And when I say sick, when I'm talking about mental health issues, this is the extreme of it. He really believed that he was in a movie. So they show a lot of perspective. I don't want to give everything away. It's important that you watch it because we're very quick, because it's such an emotional topic. This is what media does. First of all, it triggers you right away. Right? But you don't take time to get perspective. At the end of it, you're kind of like, wow. But let me just keep going to it. Let me keep telling you what happened. So they kept telling people that this boy was crazy. The police wasn't listening to them. No, because they're like, this is a Facebook group. Until this man stabs a young gentleman. His name was Jun Lin. He tapes it, puncturing this guy's chest like a million times with an ice pick, cuts off all his limbs, sent them to Steve Harper. Yes! I was like, where was
I did not hear about this
yes,
at all.
Girl. 2012, this nonsense was happening. It went to government offices. This man wailed a foot, brethren. Yes. Yep. So one lunatic, one ice pick is what he called the video. They show little clips of this. People are very disturbed. I feel really sorry for his mom. She truly believes that her son did nothing wrong. She thinks that this person named Manny was forcing him. This kid is, you have to watch this. So,
who's Manny?
You have to watch it. Girl, you have to just watch. And at the end, like how they twist it, long story short, my upsetness about this is it happened in Canada. This idiot, first of all, if you're gonna come on a Netflix show, say the name of our cities properly. This man tried to say, I don't even know if I can say it properly. He tried to say Etobicoke, but he was like, Etobicoke. Edipicoke. That's what it was, Edipicoke. And I'm like, I was thinking about when he said it, I'm like, Edipicoke? And I'm like, is he saying Etobicoke? I was so angry. Honestly. So this Luke Magnotta guy, too, another sick fat, gets married in prison on my birthday. Really upset about that. This is him. This is this little idiot. The things this man did, he was obsessed with movies. So basically, down to the murder he did was all based off of a movie, Basic Instinct. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie. Yeah, this child's very special.
Sorry.
You have questions.
So
that's him disposing of parts of the body.
Okay, wow. Okay, so this show? Is it based on this, or is it like a spin-off, or
docuseries? So it documents the people who were behind the internet, who found out about him and first went to the authorities. So they're looking at. Do you know how long these people stayed on this project, Bedrin? 18 months. 18 months. These people watched this little boy do all this strippiness. 18 months.
And they told the police.
The police didn't listen to them at first.
Until he killed someone.
And that was the whole thing. They're like, because for him, this young man, he wanted attention. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing, and this is what makes you think about this. And she says at the end, you know what? Was this our fault? Did we do this? Because we paid so much attention to this young boy. And then she turns to the audience and says, and you who sat there for 3.5 hours watching this, did you just add to his legacy? I was like, this.
So Facebook didn't think to take the video down?
It wasn't on Facebook. He put it on different sites. It was uploaded. Forum? Someone found it and it was uploaded on a forum. Yes. This is what's happening in our world right now. But why did I watch it? I'm intrigued.
I saw it. I was going to watch it, but then Greenleaf called me, so I just finished.
I'm gonna see Greenleaf, but it's such an extreme. I need a couple days break before I watch
Greenleaf. I finished watching season 4 of Greenleaf. It's awesome. It was really, really good. I really liked it.
Don't say anything. I don't want any spoilers with that. Just leave it alone. You already told me there's drama in it. But anyhow, so big guys, drama. Lessons from this. First of all, people in Toronto need to just calm it down. We do the most messed up stuff. Only in Ontario does someone cut off someone's neck and walk on a Greyhound bus. Why? Yeah, like
that's so American though.
But it happened here.
Yeah.
Only in Toronto does someone walk around with a pile of shit and dump it on people.
My dad talked to me about that today in the
car.
What
did he say?
He was talking about how So he was talking about how he feels someone did juge to him. I think did we say this?
We talked about this. Yeah.
So he also feels that so he's upset that he's Ghanaian. And he's also upset that like his whole legacy is ruined right now. Because now it's not so much that you were the Toronto shitter, but it's also now the fact that you're off on conditional bail for mental health reasons. And it's kind of like
such a disgrace, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was a follow-up to
the Toronto
shitter man we spoke about 2 weeks ago. Very disappointing news. But I'm not glad he's out on bail, but I don't know how I feel about it.
He could be Luca Bagnata.
You know what? That's true.
There's extremes.
That is true.
All right, guys, when we come back, I know, look at this. And
is that him?
That's him.
Oh, my gosh. Even the way, you see, this is why you shouldn't like guys who wear fedoras, guys. This is exactly why. Do you see why?
No, look at him. Look at the difference.
He looks like he's having fun.
He is
I don't feel he has any remorse at all.
No, he is this boy here has some problems. And the mom, I don't know, boy.
Who's Manny?
You need to watch this. This is why you have to watch it.
I will watch it.
If you have an intrigued mind, you're going to watch this. Okay, guys, when we come back, I'm going to intrigue you a little more. So I decided to I used to love these whole, did you know? I like to go and look for interesting facts because I think life sometimes can be very mundane and boring. So I have a few interesting facts you guys may like, and they've been, researched, and they're kind of cool. See you guys soon on In the Now.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
Hey, y'all. What's good?
So,
Did I know what?
don't F with cats.
I agree. Cats are beautiful creatures.
Very disgusting. Anyhow, on to better news. So, I'm gonna you know what, Christina, you can tell me if you knew any of these facts. I'm gonna see if I'm able to stump you on any of these.
Okay.
All right, I think this is fair. So let's start with the first one.
Okay.
Did you know that trees can talk?
Yes.
Okay, so you got this one. So let me explain it. So trees communicate. Their roots are actually connected through an underground network of fungi called the wood wide web. That's
how
very,
they used to tell when one is sick or one is dying.
yes.
Like
So there's a mother tree, they said, which is usually the oldest and the strongest tree, and it will share their sugars and things with the trees around them. So this is why it's so important. When you go into the woods, you're not supposed to disturb things. These things are alive. Our world is alive, whether you want to believe it or not. Okay, so I didn't get you on that one, but it's a pretty cool thing, to know that there's so much life around us. All right, next. I think I have you on this one.
Okay.
So did you know that there's a book that's 50,000 words that has no letter E in it?
I have heard of this, yeah.
How?
This is the shit I love. Oh shit, can we swear on there? I don't remember. This is this kind of stuff that I love stuff like it. I knew that.
Okay, so this book is called Gadsby. I'm gonna actually read this. I took a small paragraph to read because I was like, you gotta use an E. How do you not use an E? But this is called a lipogram, or a novel written without the letter E.
But what was the purpose of doing that?
I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to be the only one to do it because it's the only one that's out there. So his name is Ernest Vincent Wright, and he wrote this novel in 1939. It's pretty ingenious. To try to do this without, I wonder if it'd be harder now.
I don't think it even, why?
Okay, so let me read this. So opinions. Attaining an ability of its own, a fact which is startlingly shown by an occasional child, prodigy in music or schoolwork. And as with our dumb animals, a child's inability convincingly to impart its thoughts to us should not class it as ignorant.
So that whole spiel has
not one blasted E.
Wow.
I'm impressed. I'm reading it just as a writer. I want to see how the hell he did that.
I agree.
In 1939, and yeah, another person who just seems to have way too much time on their hands. What are you? All right, next.
I get with it.
Next.
Okay,
so
next one.
I know I got you on this one.
Let's see.
Did you know that in the 1920s, people used to send their children in the mail?
I did not know that.
Yes! This is true. So, postage was cheaper than a train ticket.
Wow.
Right? This is according to Smithsonian, and a lot of the photos should have been giving people courtesy. Some frugal parents chose this option. So newspapers ran an amusing headlines such as "Baby by Parcel Post" and "The Parcel Post Baby Makes Trips Along LE Railroad." So there's actually a family, Jesse and Matilda Beagle. They mailed their 8-month-old. No, not yet. Put that down. We don't want to go there yet. I'm not there yet. Yeah, come back. Come back to the first one. The local news, right? Yeah, girl, you're quickie. All right. So they mailed their 8-month-old son, James, to his grandmother, who lived just a few miles away in Batavia. According to Lynch, and this is in Ohio, by the way, this is happening in the States.
Of course.
Okay? So,
of course it is.
According to Lynch, baby James was just shy of the 11-pound weight for the packages sent by the parcel post, and his delivery cost his parents only 15 cents. But they did insure him for $50. So the quirky story soon made newspapers, and for the next several years, some idiot people followed them and sent off their Pick Me True mail parcel.
So how did this child eat while they were being sent to wherever?
God, I don't know. I know this.
How did you change their diaper? This is so weird.
I have one more story.
Okay, go on.
So there's actually a book, a children's book. Put this back up now, please, Selena. Mailing May. And this is a famous case in 1914, February 19th, 1914. A 4-year-old girl named Charlotte May Perstroff was mailed via train from her home in Grangeville, Idaho, to her grandparents' house 75 miles away. Nancy Pope, who wrote about this in the National Post, her story had been so legendary that they made it into this book, Mailing May. So, got you on what? People send them picnic. First of all, you knew this is back in the days in 1920s, because right now you can't send your kids
I can barely send my
nowhere.
phone via mail.
Can you
let alone
imagine?
a whole child.
A child. Because it's
Wow.
cheaper. Listen, it's,
Mail is so expensive, though. Honestly, like
This
if
is
you
why,
run a
like-
business, like nowadays, like Canada Post is ridiculous.
kind of makes sense. I get there. I feel them. I understand them. Okay. So this one's kind of cool. And this one I'm going to talk about people who complain. We complain because of daylight savings time and how it's darker and all them things. What if you had to deal with darkness for 65 days?
Yeah, I knew this one.
So
I
did you
actually
know?
watched a documentary about it.
Yes, there's an Alaskan town that goes completely dark for over 60 days. So the residents, there's two different, obviously there's different areas, but there's two places that I researched. So Barrow, Alaska, it's called Polar Nights. And for 65 days, usually from the end of December, beginning of December to the end of January, no lights. Throw up some more of those pictures for these people, because I don't know what I would do.
How do they like?
I don't know. It happened once a year. But you have to understand, the bonus is they get pure daylight for like 60
I
days.
heard that part too.
Right? So
That
there's
is so beautiful.
that
But
I
then
like.
again,
Can you
look at the cold.
I know. Look at that. Just hold that there for a second, Selena. Do you imagine looking at that? If this was your window, you're looking at this for 65 days.
I can't do
Lose my mind.
it. I can't do it.
So that was my last one, I think. So out of the 4, I only got one. Got one on you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You can take it down now, Selena. Seriously, I don't want to be looking at it anymore. I'm done. I'm over it. Just all of us need to stop complaining.
I hear that.
Okay. So we're about to end off, but I figured I would throw something in. We may not have them with me, but Christina, have you been staying up with your one book a week challenge?
No. No, I haven't. I have not. Sorry for letting you all down. Haha. Boo-hoo. I have not. No. You know what it was? I get bored easily. I don't know. I think the books I got were boring. Maybe. I don't know. Like,
Can I make a suggestion? Because
Yeah.
just so everyone knows, I've held up on my end of the deal.
Firstly, the deal had nothing to do with you. You were not involved.
We're gonna go back a few shows, and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna ask
You know
Selena
what?
to
I
find
agree.
that clip.
I agree.
Find the clip.
Find the clip.
Find the clip.
And show the
Okay.
clip.
Anyhow,
All I said was
In her
whatever
feelings,
book
this is
we
the
were
scene.
reading at the time, we should share with
Selena
you,
is my
our
witness.
audience. You know
Selena
what,
is my
Selena,
witness.
go through. I give you
Selena
permission
is
to go through the
my
archives
witness.
and find when I said that clip, and we can find out exactly verbatim what I said. I did not say. You know what? Whatever. Find the clip, Selena, and make sure we have it for next week's show. Are you done?
Now that the emotion has passed, I would like to say, I told you so. I knew you wouldn't be able to do it because you went and got big books.
Okay.
Take your time.
Sure.
Start small.
No problem.
Work up to bigger books.
Sounds good.
Like I do.
Awesome.
I won. You guys have a wonderful Friday.
It wasn't even a competition.
I won.
Sure.
Have
In
a
your
wonderful
head.
Friday, guys.
Because
Not
you're
in my
delusional.
head. It's not in my
your
head.
No, in your head.
See you guys
won.
next week. I'm gonna
In
deal with
your
her on
head,
this.
you won.
She's in her feelings, guys.
Because
Go.
you're I'm not in my feelings.
Selena,
What I
look
am
up the
is
script.
that
Look it up.
people,
See you guys next
certain
week.
people
Show
like
Selena.
to be like
Selena.
Simone.